Hey everyone, welcome to another video review. This is the Transformers Legacy Evolution Voyager class Tarn from the comic universe. Yes, we're going to go ahead and put them off to the side real quick and look at this box, which, yep, it is a Legacy Evolution Voyager box. You got Tarn there in his vehicle mode right there. Kind of goofy Cybertronian tank Transformers, Generations, and Cartomy, and Legacy Evolution in plastic-free packaging. Voyager class and Tarn's name, and on the side here you will have robot mode shots of him, including close-up and all that stuff. You got that. On top you have the Legacy Evolution logo and a QR code if you want to go look at the tech specs. On this side you have the other half of the line-wide artwork. We haven't seen this part yet, really, I think, on the packaging in my views. Then you got the end half Decepticon symbol, which might be something to do with not Tarn. It's maybe something else like... yeah, you got, Laser Optimus and Hotshot and some Junkions and Insecticons and half of Armada Optimus and so on and so forth. On the bottom you have, copyrights and all that stuff, and plus what's included. And on the back you have some product shots on Evo Fusion, the new thing they're pushing, which doesn't really mean much, honestly. It's just a marketing term. There. Also in the box you have the instructions, which are pretty straightforward, although there is one spot the instructions don't make clear, and I'll get to that when we get to the transformation. Anyway, Tarn. Yes, Tarn. Yes, from the comics, the IDW comics, we finally have an official Tarn, and it's just good. Spoiler alert. Yeah, looking at close here, of course, you have the Decepticon mask, which unfortunately is not removable. It does technically have light piping, but it's this little tiny rectangle right there, and it doesn't work very well. So it exists, it's just But it does have light piping. Mask is non-removable, so that's the thing. If you want that, well, too bad. He's got his tread, shoulders, all that stuff. He's got his the chest was purple, dark blue, kind of dark blue silver, the little gold Decepticon symbols. Some light piping in the chest itself. You can see all that. Yeah, this translucent purplish plastic right here. Yeah, they got that. They got that color, all that, the gray, the gold kneecaps, purple and silver and dark blue and all that stuff, and gold all the way down here. He's got his gun, which, two different barrels, which is correct. And all that stuff. Yep, and you got his little guns on the back too and everything too. And he also cleans up really well, because you can see there is not really a lot of hollowness or anything. There's a Tamashii stage port right there. But yeah, there's really not any hollowness. He is hollow free, I guess. He's also kind of thin. I mean, that's kind of correct, but it is kind of something that some people are a little upset about, so that's something to be aware of. But anyway, he is a very nice robot. If you look closely, for example, there's he's supposed to have little pink highlights and stuff, but he doesn't. So it's not the end of the world, but it's something to note, I guess, for potential customization. But yeah, generally a really nice representation of Tarn from the comics. And of course, you can see he's got his dual fusion cannons or whatever. You can peg those in like that, or you have a couple options. You can also take this and rotate this around, and let's see, you want to go ahead and take these and plug them in like this. And you knock them over too. But yeah, you plug these in like that, and then there's a peg hole back there, and you could go ahead and peg this like this if you want. That's one thing you can do. They show you instructions. And there's also the thing where it's like you just something a little silly, honestly. It's the Evo Fusion, which is, you take these two guns and just peg them together. Either way, really, but yeah, you peg those together, and it's just a really long rifle. He can hold it in his hand, but it's just a really long rifle. It looks a little silly, but it's a thing you can do if you want. But of course, most of us are just going to, leave it like this, because this is the proper way. Yep, and just, you got a couple big holes here, so you can put it farther back. The only problem is it kind of might get a little in the way of the articulation a bit. It can get a little weird, but yeah. You're actually supposed to put in that forward peg hole a little bit, but I believe actually I put these in the wrong peg holes. Yeah, because there's also multiple peg holes there, but yeah, you're supposed to kind of do that sort of thing. There you go. That's the gun stuff. Pretty well done. Articulation. Head is all the ball joints you got left and right and up and down, and it's a wiggle and waggle there, right there. Shoulders are kind of high, sit kind of high, so that might upset some people, but yeah, they kind of sit high like this, but they do have full rotation, and outward is, again, like that. So that's one point of articulation some people are probably going to be upset by, just because it's the hinges here, and they probably wish the hinge was in here instead, but it is what it is. You got bicep swivel right above the elbow. You do have this transformation joint, so you can kind of, that might be help for certain poses. If you get, like say, move his arm forward, you can get a little bit of a cross arm action going. He does have his elbow, which a little over 90 degrees, actually significantly over 90 degrees right there. His wrists can in fact swivel, which is nice. And his hands can open and close, which is pretty cool too. Hands can open and close quite a bit, actually. His waist can swivel, mostly unhindered, although you get to this point, yeah, the backpack kind of hinders a little bit, but at that point, that's, well, more than enough waist swivel, I think. Hips, of course, forward that far. Nice high kick. Back that far. Outward, you have that far. Not quite the full splits, but pretty far anyway. Thighs are rotate nicely. And then you have, well, the knees. You got but not much range unless you engage the transformation joint, in which case you can get a full, bend, which is real nice. So you just got to remember to click that back into place if you use the transformation joint there. And down here at the feet are actually pretty good too, because, well, you got forward and back, and you have side to side on the ankle. So that's, pretty darn good suite of articulation there. The only thing I would say is maybe the shoulders are a little weird. The shoulders are kind of weird, but for me personally, that's the only real downside of this articulation. Everything else is really well done. Even that for me is just a minor problem. For a lot of people, it might be a bigger problem, but for me, it's a minor one. But anyway, quick comparison. I don't have a whole lot of stuff to compare them to. I don't have the MMC Culture or anything. I do have Siege Megatron, I guess, which, yeah, I don't have an IDW style Megatron, but hey, it's a Megatron, so it's mid shorter, which is pretty much where he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be a bit shorter than Megatron, so that more or less works. So anyway, fantastic robot mode, honestly. I was very excited when we got this guy was announced, and he showed up, and he did not disappoint. But going ahead and transform him. Actually, not by transformation either. First, you got to go ahead and take this off, and just while you're doing it, yeah, rotate that piece around and just have it like that. You put that off to the side because you're going to need that later. Then come back here. You want to take the guns here and rotate them around. There's a little tabs into the slot on the guns right there. You take the backpack and untab it from the back. Bring it down like that for now. Now up here, you want to take the head here and rotate this. It'll kind of unclips in here. You want to rotate, unclip, rotate, and then bring it back like this. And you'll want to make sure the head is actually at an angle like that. You see how the head's at a bit of an angle? You want to keep it like that. There's a reason for that. I'll show you why in a second. Go ahead and untab this and just bring that up a bit. Take these side treads right here that are under that and slide those out. And then go ahead and rotate the arms up like this. And then rotate these pieces. Might catch sometimes, but yeah, you rotate these pieces like backwards like this. Like so. You can go ahead and rotate them all the way around like that. Probably lift this up a little bit too. Yeah, rotate it all the way around, and this thing right here this should tab in. This is it, you're seated right. This will tab in right there, I believe. Yeah, there we go. And this is where you see this. Make sure the head, again, is angled back like this, because you need to rotate this piece around, and this is going to come down. There's a peg right here, which will go into the Tamashii stage port right there. And this has to cover up the head, and if the head is not at an angle, it will kind of interfere with the front of this thing a bit. So you want to go ahead and get that squared away, like that. Might sit funny initially, but eventually it'll kind of cooperate. Yeah, you want to get that done, like that. Now back here, down here at the legs, you want to go ahead and right here use this tab to tab them together and rotate the feet up like that. You want to curl the legs back, and you also want to go ahead and engage the transformation joint. You want to curl it back there at this joint, the lower transformation joint, and not the knee joint initially. It will, trust me on this, that's the way you'll want to do it. So anyway, you're going to do that. Now, right here, you want to go ahead and rotate the fist 180, like that. rotate this piece around on here like that, and then rotate the arm at the bicep swivel like that. So line it up so then you use this joint to bring it in, and then there's use the elbow joint, and there's a slot right there, which will go in that tab right there on the leg. That. You go ahead and untab that flap right there, bring it down, bring this around, and this will kind of tab in right there, slot in like that. It's all straightened out, and then bring this up like that, just kind of fold that up against the bottom of the arm. It doesn't really tab or anything, it just kind of sits there like that. I'll do the same thing on this side. Again, rotate the fist 180, rotate this piece around to the other side like this, rotate the bicep like that, and then use these joints to bring this in and tab the arm into the leg. Like that. Untab this, then untab this piece and bring it around into place, fold that up, and then take this piece right here. These tabs right here and these tabs right here will go into these little slots on the feet. So make sure to fold it at the correct hinge so that it all comes down nice and smooth like that. So, make sure it's all sitting properly. There we go. Like that. And finally, take these, there's tabs right here, one of these slots right here, and there you go. You have Tarn in his tank mode. And yeah, tank mode here is, well, pretty good, actually. For the most part, there are a couple of things. But yeah, it's pretty close to the comics again. You got, well, 4 barrels now. You got these little ones and these big ones. You got this kind of little, this little bit right here. You got the tank treads and whatnot. Nice bit of silver picked out on the tanks. Treads too. These things don't fold down or anything. They kind of stick out like that. And yeah, the hands. That's the one big thing is the hands kind of chill out back here. They don't really go anywhere. There's nothing that covers them or anything. Just kind of out back there. So that's one thing a lot of people aren't too thrilled about. It is a little bit of an eyesore, but honestly, it doesn't bother me that much, but it might bother you. So that's the thing to be aware of. Yeah, he's got that. There are no rolling wheels either. You can see molding for them, but no actual rolling wheels. So it'll just slide. It does lift them off the ground a bit, which is necessary for some of the clearance, particularly with these flaps right here. These flaps, if you didn't have these lifting it up, they would kind of interfere with things. Actually, not really the flap so much as the hinge itself. So it's necessary. I suspect there was going to be rolling wheels, and then budget caused the wheels to be removed, and well, they left the nubs. But this turret can, swivel left and right. I do have a little tiny bit of up and down, but not a lot because of molding. But generally, a pretty darn good looking tank, just with some minor things. And I guess this part right here, I wish this kind of clipped in at the front too. But as it is, you can see sometimes it kind of doesn't sit totally nice right there. But otherwise, I think this is a pretty good, nice tank. The only thing also is he compresses down a lot because this is actually somewhat small because you'll see. Here's Siege Megatron. And yeah, you can see, compared to Siege Megatron, he is kind of small because they were almost the same height. And now, yeah, he compresses down a lot. For some people, that's going to bother some people. It doesn't bother me, but, it is something to be aware of. Also, he does have rolling wheels, so it's kind of, Yeah, still a really nice looking tank, just kind of, yeah, smaller than you probably would hope. And also, again, you can see a whole ton of 5mm ports all over the guy, so that's a lot that you can use. So yeah, as a whole, I would say Tarn is amazing. He is a fantastic figure and definitely one to get. If you can, of course, you can get him, find him. Legacy Evolution stuff is starting to appear here and there. I got mine from Pulse. But yeah, they're starting to appear here and there and whatnot. So yeah, it's definitely one of the ones to get in this way for sure. Because he is, I think, great robot, pretty darn good alt mode. Although there might be some minor things that some people not like about it. But the transformation too is actually pretty clever and well engineered. He doesn't have any like big hollow pieces on him anywhere, and he just looks really good. He is a fantastic Voyager, and honestly, I think well worth the entry price, and definitely should be picked up when you can. And no doubt there's someone going to be like having some like little, I don't know, something to cover these up in some way or shape or form to cover up the fist, but you know, I'm not going to be too worried about it. Yeah, pick him up if you can find him. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you found it informative and entertaining. Hope you like, comment, subscribe. Check out my Twitter, Nemesis Prime. I'm at Nemesis Prime 1. Check out my cohost.com/Nemesis Prime. Check out my Coffee, my Patreon. And I shall see you next time with another video review.